The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is a contemporary fiction novel centered around the legendary Hollywood actress Evelyn Hugo, who, at 79 years old, decides to tell the true story of her life without filters, lies, or manipulations for the very first time. The narrative is divided between the present, where a young journalist named Monique Grant is mysteriously choosing to write Evelyn's exclusive biography, and the past, where Evelyn herself recounts her journey. From her poor childhood as the daughter of Cuban immigrants to becoming a world-renowned star, Evelyn takes us through her 7 marriages, countless scandals, carefully calculated lies, and one forbidden love. Throughout the book, Evelyn reveals that her 7 marriages were, in fact, strategic moves, which with a very specific goal to, to protect her image, her career, or the people she loved. Most of them were not about love, but about survival and convenience. The major twist comes when she confessed that the great love of her life was Celira Settle James, another famous actress with whom she maintained a secret relationship for decades, out of fear of social rejection at the time. The book deeply explores the weight of being a woman in Hollywood, the consequences of culture erasure. Evelyn hides her Latina roots to fit into Hollywood's whitewashed standards, and how much she had to sacrifice of herself to maintain her success. At the same time, is a powerful story about LGBTQIA plus love in times of repression, motherhood, grief, and the search for redemption at the end of one's life. The final revelation is devastating. Evelyn chose Monique to write her biography because it was Monique's father whom Evelyn indirectly helped to die. Monique's father had been the secret lover of Harry Cameron, Evelyn's best friend, and her gay husband. After a fatal car accident, Evelyn, in attempted to protect Harry's reputation and her own, allowed Monique's father to be left for dead at the scene, covering up the truth about their relationship. This truth completely changed the way Monique sees both of biography project and Evelyn herself, and wants her story told in her own way. She wants to leave behind a legacy that is honest, even if it ruins her public image. Evelyn dies by assisted suicide shortly after finishing her narrative, leaving Monique not only the story of a brilliant and tragic life, but also the responsibility of turning it into something honest and powerful. Now, I will tell you about some important themes that I found in this book. First one is feminist and family power. Evelyn Hugo is a woman who is highly aware of how the world sees and treats women, especially beautiful women. From young age, she understands that in system that objectifies her, she can use the objectification as a weapon. She negotiates, manipulates, and makes decisions that many might consider cold of her 7. But deep down, they reveal the strength of a woman trying to maintain control of her own life in a world built for men to dominate. She does not see herself as a victim, but as a player, even though the cost of the game is sometimes incredibly high. This raises rejections on what it means to be a feminist in hostile environments and how female power can take different forms, even controversial ones. LGBTQIA hidden identity and love. The heart of book is the love between Evelyn Hugo and Celia Settle James. This relationship is kept secret for decades, not only because of their careers, but because leaving that love publicly would have put their lives at risk. The book explores the pain of hiding who you love, of pretending to be in a heterosexual relationships in order to survive, and the silent violence of living a life in which you constantly deny your true self. It is an emotionally rich and honest representation of LGBTQIA plus experience without relying on stereotypes. Evelyn does not define herself as gay or straight. She simply loves who she loves. That complexity adds even more depth to central romantic arc. Love versus convenience. Appearance versus truth. Evelyn's seven husbands are, for the most part, tragic. Each one represents a different kind of relationship, from abuse and manipulation to sincere friendship, like with Harry Cameron. This theme shows how many public relationships are carefully crafted images and how emotionally draining it can be to keep us appearances. Evelyn often chooses safety, reputation, or business over love, which leads to devastating consequences. The question that remains is, how far are we willing to go to give up true love in exchange for other forms of success or protection? Evelyn constantly lives this duality. Now I will talk about representation and identity. The nine one's roots. Evelyn was born Evelyn Herrera, the daughter of Cuban immigrants. At a young age, she changed her name, dyes her hair blonde, and writes her Latin roots in order to be accepted in Hollywood. The choice, forced by a racist and elitist system, is filled with pain. She denies her culture, her language, and part of her history in order to exist at the top. This raises a very current question. How many people have to erase themselves to be accepted in white, health, elite space? The character lives an identity shaped for public consumption, and only at the end of her life does she confront what she lost by hiding for so long. Now I will talk about something about my experience reading this book. Reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was incredibly intense and personal experience for me. From the very beginning, I was completely hooked. I couldn't stop turning the pages. I needed to know more about Evelyn's life, chapter after chapter. The writing is so fluid and well structured that it pull, pulls you in effortless. What fascinated me the most was how morally grey Evelyn is. She's manipulative, ambitious, and sometimes even clueless, but never boring. Above all, she's deeply human. You don't always agree with her choices, but you understand them. You admire her strength even when it makes you uncomfortable. The way she takes control of her own story made me reflect on how women, especially queer women, are so often expected to behave, to stay quiet, or to give up a parts of themselves for others. To be honest, reading this book for the very first time, it was really emotional because I was still in the process of discovering myself as a lesbian woman. Seeing a LGBTQIA KA plus story told from the perspective of a woman who had to write not only her love but also her identity for decades hit me deeply. There were moments where I had to pause, breathe, and sit with my feelings because I felt seen and at the same time heartbroken. Evelyn struggled writing her sexually and erasing her cultural roots to survive in Hollywood, opening my eyes to how much people sacrifice just to be accepted. This story expanded my view of identity, love, and resilience. It was beautiful, painful, and incredibly meaningful. It's a book that will stay up with me for a long time. So, if you like stronger stories with complex characters and that leave you thinking for days, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is a must read. It's a book that talks about love, loss, ambition, and sympathy, and that will certainly leaves its mark on you in some way. So that is, I hope you like it. Thank you and bye.